Morning, everybody. 8 a.m. July 13th. Welcome to my channel. Of course, there's nothing but drama over the weekend. So Middle East tensions arise again. Iran saying the Strait of Hormuz is closed because they say U.S. keeps interfering. Now, the market reacts to these things, but then always recovers. So it's definitely numb to these news breaks. And crude is up to $73.83 a barrel, but they're not sustained weakness. So we'll see. We have to see. Now the KOSPI, the South Korean markets sold off with semis again. I think it was SK Hynix weakest day ever. Now remember that's part of our in our U.S. stock market as well now. So semis are getting hit this morning. All right, they're down almost 2%. Now does that get bought again? Who knows? That's been the pattern. Okay. Friday was another day that was interesting. We opened up, right? Let's just take a look at this market real quick. Right here, this is a 30-minute chart of the ES. We opened up, and then Trump says the ceasefire is over. The market ripped down, and that's what you call a liquidation break because it comes out of nowhere, recovers, and then the market just grinded higher the rest of the day. I had 3 trades that day. I had a long. All I needed was 12 points. I got about, I think, 10. And then I got stopped out for break even. Then I was in a short after that news. I was up again about, I don't know, 7, 8 points. I could have went to break even, but I reduced my risk. I got stopped. And then I was in a long. And my long, uh, at the time, the market wasn't super strong. And it was like in a balanced market. You could even see right here. I was just like, all right, I actually took a little less than my target because I was like, this could roll back because it just was struggling. But then it pulled back, it did, and then it just grinded into the close up. So I would have hit my full profit, but I was playing defense. Okay, so um, this week earnings season starts. Okay, earning season starts. So let's just get right into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Market profile, bond profile, define structure, and markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I come up. That's how I come up with my game plans. Now, every morning, all right, use my market internals as well to know where money is going off the open. Okay, it's very important to know where money is going off the open. Okay, I use market internals to tell me that, along with a little ICT, along with Anchor VWAPs, my weekly expected move indicator for Thinkorswim that I give away for free on my Discord, along with Gamma flip points that I give away for free on my Discord as well. All wrap that up and give you my proprietary trading system. All right, now every morning I do this. Hopefully you join me. Subscribe, set that alert. Okay, give you the market story, the market news, economic calendar, technical analysis, and always give you the long and short trade scenarios in NASDAQ and ES futures later on in the stream. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. All right, let's get right into the futures watch list here. The VIX is up 9%. Okay. Crude is up 3.35%. 10-year yield is up 0.40. Dollars flat. Dow's down 0.12. 30-year bonds being sold down 0.17. Russell down 0.30. ES down 0.36. Ethereum down 0.78. Nasdaq's down 1%. Gold down 1.15%. Bitcoin down 1.71%. And silver is your laggard down 2.11%. Moving on to the Mag 7 Plus list here. Microsoft's up 0.45. Netflix up 0.45. They report earnings this week. JP Morgan up 0.15. Apple's up 0.13. Let's go to the 1%ers. Coinbase down 1.15, Nvidia down 1.27, Broadcom down 1.62, AMD down 2.40, Intel down over 3%, and Micron down 4.73%. Okay, top sectors. Chevron up 1.19, Exxon up 1.10, Salesforce up 0.82. So software is getting love this morning. Software. Palantir up 0.36, Goldman Sachs up 0.36. All right, let's see who's lagging. GE Vernova down 1.17, NEM, the mining stock, down 1.33, and Qualcomm is your laggard, down 2.16. Sectors. Energy leading the pack, up 1.18%. Financials up 0.18, sorry. Stables up 0.12. Who's lagging is your technology, down 1.21, and semiconductors down almost 2%. Remember the KOSPI, South Korean market, semis sold off. Okay. Now, every time this has happened, they get bought up. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Okay. Now, let's go to economic calendar. And we'll just quickly go over this week's data. Okay. So today we got Fed Bowman spoke already, 5:25 a.m. Fed Waller speaks at 12:30 p.m. All right. This week we have CPI, PPI. Okay. That's what we have this week. Okay. That's the schedule. Now, Trump's schedule today. Let's see here. Monday, July 13th. The president participates at 1:30 in a Freedom to 50 Grand Prix showcase at the White House. So 1:30, he's probably speaking. Okay. The news, obviously, is U.S.-Iran trade more strikes. Tehran says Strait of Hormuz is closed. And then the KOSPI. See this outsized losses in NASDAQ. Futures point to a rough opening session for technology shares, tracking an aggressive overnight sell-off in Asian chip-making hubs. The retreat was headlined by South Korea's SK Hynix, which plunged as much as 14% in Seoul trading. So that's why our semis are down. Okay. Now, oh, what's this? It just came out a minute ago. Trump may see shutdown in September if filibuster does not know. Here we go again. Government shutdown. Some other news here. We already know about the SK Hynix. We just talked about that. Apple sues OpenAI. White House to rally utility data centers over AI power costs. Let's see if there's anything else in here that I don't know about. Let's go to the earnings calendar. Let's look at the earnings calendar together. All right. So tomorrow, 40 open, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all report earnings. So the financials, the banks usually start off earnings season. The notables this week are ASML, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, Johnson & Johnson, United Airlines, United Health Group, Taiwan Semiconductors, GE, Abbott Labs, a lot of pretty decent big stocks, Netflix, Alcoa, Intuitive Surgical, Travelers. That's some decent ones. Not the biggest ones, but some decent ones this week. Okay. Now, I generally go into the breadth and stuff like that. It really didn't do much in the dispersion index. I don't want to keep hitting on that until I see some significant change. It is at like pretty much all-time highs. Okay, but we're gonna move on to just the market internals. We'll look at those. Just a weird session with that news that dropped the market, and then the market just took that as a liquidation break. So again, technology led. And then the rest of the top sectors were red. So again, another mixed day. And look at this garbage. and then finally it caught its footing and just stayed and it just grinded higher. Okay. None of these internals tell me that it was going to be an outsized move. Okay. But when you have tech leading, it's very hard for the market to go down. Very hard. Okay. That is your market internals recap. Now we can go to the daily charts. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the SPY here. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. I had to help my daughter with something because she with sunblock. All right. So let's look. We finally broke this downtrend. All right. Closed above it. 2 weekly highs. We closed above it. Okay. Also, we took out finally this daily supply zone right here. We finally took it out to the penny, pretty much. Okay. Now this is pretty bullish. And then we got this news, right? So 751.90. That's where we are now. So see how we're like hovering by these previous 2 weekly highs. Now, if we drop again, we could probably find ourselves moving lower. Now, earnings season starting, so it gets a little crazy, but that would be pretty significant if we came back inside this trend. Okay. So obviously, everybody knows about these levels. Okay. Let's look at the futures. All right. So we are in daily supplies still in futures. Okay. So it's just like I'll keep saying this. There's a lot of overhead supply. It's not easy to cut through where we're at. Not easy at all. Okay. Now, ever since I've been talking about this, look how many times you've come up here and failed. That's why I say you have to have it on your chart just as a reminder to be like, okay, this should not be an easy rip through it if there's not like some news catalyst. Okay. That's last week's highs. We are here, right here. Look where we're at just in futures. Look, it's a better picture. Previous 2 weekly highs, we are right there. Okay. Typical Monday, right? That where it gives you that, okay, that's not giving you some clear sign, right? Now, QQQs are down 1% pre-market. Now, check out this daily demand. That's why I have it on my chart as well, right? You never penetrated that deep into this daily demand, right? And then we went into daily supply in QQQ on Friday. Okay. That's what we did on Friday. Now, there's still a downtrend here. So, where are we now? That's the important part, right? 718.20s. We are at the lows of Friday. Okay. The lows. Your guess is as good as mine. Like I said, this market, when I looked at the sectors this weekend, disgusting. Every sector just looks disgusting. It just looks like garbage. Hence why our market's garbage. That's why individual stocks, it's a stock picker's market because you can see individually stocks are moving around. Overall indices are not. They're all over the place. Okay? Let's look at futures. This is garbage. I mean, look at this from the 31 100s down to here, right? By the 28480s. We've just been in this wedge, compressing, doing nothing. Look at this price action. Just boom, 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 boom. It's literally doing nothing. Okay? So, where are we now? That's last week's highs. Okay? Right there. Your guess is as good as mine, like I said. Can this be a swing high and we push down lower? I don't know. It's definitely giving you. And here's the 50-day moving average. Look at the moving averages tell you everything. Look, 9 EMA daily is kind of flat. 20 days kind of flat. The 50 days still inclining. Okay, but pretty much just not doing much. Okay, now real quick breath shot. We're at 68% of stocks order 50-day moving average. So the overall breadth has been improving. Today we'll probably take a hit. Okay, today it will probably take a hit. Let's move on. I'm going to go to the hourly charts. And this market is just, like I said, just not the best for my trading. Especially when there's so much, like I said, if you trade individual stocks, like I do in options, like those are the ones that move. Okay. So this is garbage. So look at where we're at, right? Most traded price of the week is your 75, call it 85s. That's where price is in the ES right here. You have a new week opening gap here. We opened up right there. You can see there's a gap now right here. We didn't fill it yet. Okay. And we're just, not a shock to me, hanging out at the most traded price of the rolling week. Now you can see right here with the prior two weekly highs I pointed out earlier, we broke out on Friday, right? You would think, oh man, and the close up here, you think that's strong. And then what happened? You got this news, right? And we're here. So there's not much holding us back to go down to the 755, 75.50s. Then you got the most traded price of the month, the 75.44s. So I think if there is some weakness and you come under the 75.85s, you can take it right back down to here, and maybe we just start doing this. Okay. And now I can get rid of this bullish for value gap because that's been cleaned up. So that poor structure is gone. And it's just setting up to a typical Monday to be like, great. Is there going to be something to do? Okay. Let's go to the NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back again. All right, so here's a NASDAQ. Okay, so where we at? Perfectly at the 297s, right? And we just took out poor structure, the bullish value gap, so that is done. Market always does its job, okay? So notice this little pattern here. You got a boop, you came down, boop, almost a double top from back there, okay? Market doesn't know what it wants. This KOSPI, the South Korean market's really hammering these memory and semis lately. It really is having an effect on the market, okay? We are in still ultimate balance. 299 is your most traded price of the week. 297 the most traded price of the month. Yeah, like I said, we can just oscillate in between these two, right? Because there's a bunch of demand down here. Now, eventually, is this going to give up the goods and these memory stocks, semis are really going to get a serious pullback? Eventually, okay? But SK Hynix was saying there's just a supply shortage and it sees it not stopping until 2030. So I think there could be a correction because there's a supply shortage, right? So they're gonna keep outperforming. However, they are overdone, but they have been pulling back. But I don't know, right? Like, I'm not trying to predict that. We do have an unfilled gap below us, okay? And it's just messy charts, okay? So just 299, 297, ultimate balance. Except below 297 is bearish, except above 299 is bullish. We'll just have to see what happens, okay? Nothing's jumping off at me right now to go, whoa, 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 what an amazing setup. This has gotten me so excited. It's just not. And you have to know when there's time to act and time to not act, okay? And over time, that becomes more and more like okay not to do something. You know, I could feel it in my trading that I'm getting more and more all right. And this is your market profile and volume profile. Okay. Getting more comfortable where if I don't see what I like, there's nothing to do. Because now I know. I've always known the trades I like, but now I'm really honoring, like, why would I trade something where I'm conflicted, or why wouldn't I wait for a setup that I've seen before? That I know generally this should happen. Gives you the best odds to win, right? Otherwise, sometimes you throw a trade in there just because you're bored or a mental trade worked and then you want to like make that back because you should have made money, but then you take a loss. All that stuff, everybody goes through it, okay? It's totally normal. But when you keep doing it and doing it, you could either do one thing: you blow up and you stink, and you mentally are defeat it, or you stay, you persevere, and eventually, when you keep doing the things you're supposed to do, and you get rewarded, it's like a feedback loop. Okay, it's a feedback loop. So let's get into the scenarios of the ES, and we'll just look at levels like we just did. Okay, now ES does have ultimate balance. It's a little wide. The most traded price of the week is 75, 85s. And the 75.45 is your most traded price of the month. We are right on the most traded price of the week. I just talked about that earlier. Okay, we are inside Friday's session. We are right by the midpoint. Very poor spot to be in. It's not good. It's not a great spot. Your overnight session's very balanced. That's even more just you got equal sellers and buyers. Again, a lot of indecisiveness here. Okay, for my style, this is not a place I want to be entering at all. But it makes it easy for a plan. Because what I do know is if you trade in the middle of Friday, the middle of the overnights basically, and at the most traded price of the week, you're going to get an inside out trade. Okay, you will get an inside out trade, which means you're going to push to the edges of the overnight highs or the overnight lows or to Friday's highs and lows. That was where I'm probably going to do business. I don't want to do a coin flip here, right? And when I first started, one of my first mentors would talk like this, and I'd be like, well, why? What if, and then what happens would be, what would happen is, let's say I short in here and I win and I make money and I'm new. I'm thinking I outsmarted my mentor by saying, like, see, I made money. He said you can't. I did, right? Because I was young and trading. I made money, right? But the thing is, you can make money on stupid trades. And that's what you have to understand once you have some time in your seat. Trading is green doesn't mean good trade. Okay? It doesn't. In the beginning, it does. Red means bad day. Green means good day. I did that a lot in the beginning, right? Made money. Yes. I know what I'm doing. This is going to be great. No, it's not how it works because it's over time, right? Over time. I don't want a win, right, that I take for a quick gain to make me feel good to then I can't repeat it because it's a coin flip. Get what I'm saying? So now, very easy today. Very, very easy. What we're going to look at. Okay. So let's get into scenarios. We'll start. We'll start. Let's see here. You could literally start anywhere. I'll just start with longs. I'm not really, right now, I don't have too much of a big bias. Okay. Now, very simple today. We're going to use the overnight session. All right. 76.15 is the overnight high. 75.66s are the overnight lows. Remember, inside out from this most traded price of the week. Okay. So all I care about is what does the market do when we play with the overnight low? Is the market neutral? Meaning my internals. Is it neutral where I'm like, okay, there's really not much weakness here, right? And let's say we sweep the overnight low. Well, let's say we take it out and we go back inside the range and we put in a higher low and I'm like, whoa, these internals aren't that weak. Well, that's a signal for me to go long and I will target the most traded price of the week, 75.86s, and see if I can go up to the overnight highs, right? And you got the new week opening gap here to 76.18s, right? And do we go all the way back up to Friday highs? I don't know. Okay, that's one. Number two, if we take out the overnight lows and everyone's like this, oh my God, because you do have single prints here. Those could be taken out very easily. But what if you come down here in this major demand, take out Friday's lows, 75.52s, month to date anchored view up, 75.52s as well. Wow, that lines up. That's a confluence low there. Month to date anchor view up with Friday's lows. Okay, and then you have most traded price of the month down below, 75.44s in major demand. So if we take this out and you get a bounce and you're like, oh, and let's say tech's not that weak. Okay, I'd need this to be pretty quick. And you get that higher low. Well, you go long, target 75.86. Simple as that. And what it's going to tell us is, okay, this market's still in balance because you're still inside ultimate balance. Okay? Now, shorties. It's just the opposite, right? Now, if the market pushes up quickly, takes out, and fills that new week opening gap, the 76.18, you're still in heavy supply here, and you cannot make it up to Friday's highs. And you come back into the overnight, and you put in a lower high, you short that puppy if the market is not that strong. Target 75.86. Hold the runner, see if you can knock out the overnight low 75.66 and see if you can make it down to 75.52. Okay. Now, again, just like before, if the market comes up, fills that new week opening gap, goes to Friday's highs, this is still in supply, 76.27. If you come up here and get a quick rejection back into the range, and I'm saying this market is kind of mixed. You get a lower high, you short it, target 75.86, and maybe hold the runner to go lower. That's it. Pretty simple. It's just the matter of waiting for it. Okay, because it will happen. It will happen. Okay. Now, let's move on to the NASDAQ. Now remember, the NASDAQ is relatively weaker. Okay, it's relatively weaker. Price is right here. We're right at Friday's lows. We're not in the middle of the session like the ES. So again, our market is not correlated together. They're easier to trade when NASDAQ and ES are on the same page. They are not on the same page. And it's Monday morning. We are in ultimate balance. Let's get into the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ. We were gapping down. Now it's a tiny gap, so very small. What are our levels? Let's break out the session. Okay. We talked about this before. The main levels in the NASDAQ are your 299s, the most traded price of the week, your 297s, the most traded price of the month. This is ultimate balance. Inside here, it gets a little choppy. Okay, so find acceptance below 297s is pretty bearish. You have a lot of demand below, though. Makes the market difficult. Okay, this isn't a lot of poor structure down here. You do have an unfilled gap. Okay, note that. But above the 299s, it gets more bullish. All right, that's everything I have on my charts means something to me. You see what I'm saying? See the process? This is what I'm saying, right? So like to make it easier on my eyes, right? I'll put some yellow here. Make it easier on my eyes. I have the most traded price of the month, the most traded price of the week. Those are walls. That's what's telling me the most trades are taking place at these areas. Okay. Below this area is bearish. If the most trades have happened here, up here, it's bullish. It's very simple. Now, when you're going to execute trades, I know even what I just said, below this is bearish. Well, we have a lot of demand down here. So I know the move should not be that easy. See, so that makes me hesitant to just go, oh, I'm shorting this, right? Same to the upside. You have a lot of overhead supply. So that's why that makes this market difficult. And those are my little areas that I can say, go, well, man, we don't have a lot of poor structure, so the move might not be swift, right? Makes it difficult. All right, let's get into scenarios now. We'll start with longs. Now, we are at Friday's lows. Remember, it's totally different here. Overnight low is 295.46. It happens to be inside an unfilled gap and demand. Now, you do have the 297s. So this makes it, for me, myself, a little difficult because below this level is bearish, right? Now, they could work early on with early volume. So let me get this straight. Once we get into the like a little deeper into the day, this 297 becomes more powerful. But in early volume, you can cut through some areas of TA. So this is what I would say about right here. Okay. Let's say we come down, take out the overnight lows, right? But you're still in an unfilled gap. If you do not fill this gap, okay, that means sellers are not that strong and you're in a major demand. Okay. If you pop up, boop, and this is very like the market internals are not that weak. You get that higher low, you're going to target the 297s. Okay. You should take some off there. Now, if you're able to take out that like swing high, which is at the 50% retracement overnight, 297.94s, and hold, we should make it up to the 299s. And then try to test overnight highs, 342s or 376s Friday's highs. This has to happen early with early volume, okay? Because you don't want to hang out below 297s. Okay? Now, what else can happen? We're at 297, right? It makes sense. Another thing that I will probably be interested in, let's say if tech's leading, Let's say if Tech's lead and takes out that swing high, 29794s, right? And it's strong. What would I look for? A pullback to 297 to go long, target 299s, target Friday's highs, overnight highs. Now, since we're in ultimate balance, these have to happen earlier more than later because then you could chop around. Okay? Shorties. Okay? None of these trades that I'm saying right now are easy because of the structure that I'm talking about. None of these, I don't see swift moves happening without news. Okay, but when you leave this area of ultimate balance, there could be a monster move. Let's say if we're here, it could be monster. If we're up here, it could be a monster move up. But right now, where we're at, it's a lot of indecision. Okay, so shorts. This market, I don't believe is going to make it easy. Okay, so right now, 297 is getting rejected. That's a little win for the bears, right? So what I want to see? Well, take out this supply for me. Take it out. I want that removed, right? Take it out. Show me there's some sellers here. Maybe fill the gap. If, let's say, the market is weakening or holding down here, holding, and you get that retest of the 297 and it's still weak, that could be your short. All right. Short targeting around the 294s. Okay. If this market is going to fall, it's got to break 294, and then there is some poor structure down here where you can take out. Okay. Almost down to the 292. Okay. Now, a quick one would be 297 holds, right? You rip up into the most traded price of, remember, I want this fast, up into the most traded price of the week, 299. And let's say you jam up into this supply. I would love to see quick rejection back underneath 299s. You short the 299s, target 297s. See if you can take the overnight lows out, 29546. Okay. Everything I've just said, I'm not highly convicted on anything. Usually I will tell you I am. Oh boy, this looks like taking candy from a baby. Man, this is getting me excited. It's not. It's Monday too, okay? So, recap. ES, still at that most traded price of the week, right? That tells me to do nothing. Overnight session inside the regular trading hour session. We're going to wait for overnight low, overnight high, Friday low to be active. Okay, to be active. Okay, Qs, NASDAQ. We are inside ultimate balance, hanging out 297 to 299. 299, most traded price of the week. 297, most traded price of the month. Ultimate balance. Okay, acceptance above 299 is bullish. Acceptance below 297 is bearish. But we also are in the ultimate balance. It just makes this market not easy. Whenever you are around ultimate balance, it just means everyone's agreeing at this price. Or you can think of it as everybody is indecisive because they keep going back to balance. Balance is the home base. And it's kind of like indecisive. Everybody's agreeing that this price is fair, but we're not moving away from it. But when you move away from it, it is a big move. Okay, remember today, in our environment right now is a stock picker's market. Stocks are moving way more than the NASDAQ and the ES. Okay, that's it for me for today, folks. Smash the like one if you enjoyed that analysis. Hope you did. Hope you did. As always, please join me every morning. Subscribe, set that alert. Give you the market story and economic calendar, market news, technical analysis, and always give you the long and short trade scenarios of the NASDAQ and ES futures like I just did. If you want to get more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay? Now, today we have our plans. I am not a fan of where we are at in these markets. I am sure I will see some setup, but our markets are not correlated. NASDAQ is relatively weaker, and that puts a little layer of difficulty on the market. Okay, it's easier when they're correlated. Okay, and I don't know what's going to be driving. Is the semis going to be getting ripping off the open? Are they going to the dip bought right off the? I don't know. Right? You have to see. You have to see. Now, we have our plans. I'm pretty clear on my plans. So I hope everybody has their own plans or process. If not, you have mine. Okay? Remember, no trade's a trade. Hope everybody has a great day. Now, if I don't see you in my Discord, I should go live. I should go live around 9:45 a.m. If I don't see you there, I'll see you guys tomorrow.